where the drama starts. Lap 30, 8 laps to go. Sam Doby hoping to take advantage of these lapped cars. Pileski dives onto the right side, very aggressive here. This is lap 4. The two Viceroys, Bill Frazier ahead of Matt Pileski. Frazier's off. Frazier hit the grass. You hit that tire wall, your day is done. Well, now it's lap 20. The Williams still trying to get around the Terrell team as he'll go around the lap car and around Mills at the same time. At the same time, he's got the inside corner. Will he ride the curb? Yes, he will. He will get him on the inside. Vito Maria leading us all into Moss's corner. Look at the beauty as his right side will clip the grass. Oh, a 180, no, a 360. Oh. Who will yield going into this corner? It's really not meant for too wide as it will be Gernald. Gernald will yield. Lots of smoke picking up from that Williams car. He is pushing it to the absolute limit. 26 of 30 now. Only 4 laps to go. He's going to get the run coming out the final corner. He's going to pull up side by side with the leader. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Who is going to get there first? It's going to be...
The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. I think he missed the complete that. He's crazy.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield for 4. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Blondie's Rapture hissing from an 8-track cassette. Lady Di marries Prince Charles. Formula One race cars with ground effects. And Long Beach State sophomore Medina Mendez in a tube top. Granted, one of these memories might be a little bit self-specific. Nevertheless, with the atmosphere now dripping thick with 1981 nostalgia, you should be primed and ready for the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship. From the Snetterton circuit in Norfolk, England, it's round 4 of 12 on the 2017 fall schedule. And all the retro open wheel action from green flag to victory donuts can be seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. From the land of Bobby's on Bicycles, Stonehenge, and really bad restaurant food, hello and welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green. Way up to the press box to bring you our Word's Eye view is Soup and Crackers. Yours truly, Bill Soups On, along with Sean Crackers Ambrose, our director, the doctor of pit topology himself, Amjad Yaman, armed with cameras, located, aimed, zoomed, and focused by GSRC's camera guru, Dougie Beard. If you brought cyberspace into your place, then over the next few streamy award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to appreciate the 40 laps of simulated historic open-wheel racing that will immediately follow. Now, Crackers, these cars have been around for almost 40 years, but today we race on a track that is very new to iRacing service, Snetterton.
Yes, sir. Cheero from here in Norfolk, UK. The Snetterton circuit first opened in 1951, that is. They built this on a former WW2 RAF and also used by the United States Air Force airfield. This original circuit was constructed on the old runways and taxiways left over. But the track has undergone a lot of renovations and upgrades over the years, with the most significant ones being back in 2011. There are 3 different configurations of Snetterton on the iRacing service: the 300 circuit, the 200 circuit that will be on today, the 100 circuit. Now, the 300 circuit's the longest of those, but the Circuit 200 is this 2-mile one that you're looking at now and features 8 corners, while the Circuit 100 actually just measures just under a mile. With just 6 corners, but several of the corners on track pay homage to the famous drivers, including Hamilton, Brundle, and most recently the Montreal Hairpin was renamed for Justin Wilson in honor of that late IndyCar driver. Now, Sue, the best way to get an idea what it's like to roll around Snetterton, well, let's all take a look at it in the GSRC Lotus 79.
All right, we've got Juha Norlampi and the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Snetterton. Down into Riches, you're not going to be doing a whole lot of braking, so passes will probably require to be fully alongside your competitor. Don't drift too wide in the middle so that you can just glance both apexes. Then, be ready to really woe it up into Wilson. Passes can happen here, but the real difficulty will be getting the power down on the exit. The Lotus is not a fan of low-speed corners, and being able to gauge your traction will be the difference between a fast and a slow driver. You get a little rest flying down the Bentley Straight, but then comes the scary braking into Brundle. Trying to slow up the car through this sweeper is no mean feat because you need another stab of the brakes in Nelson right when the car is unsettled. Try not to hit that tall inside curb, then get back on the power for the short blast to the bomb hole. You'll need a big lift to get it through, and try not to lose the car as it gets light on the exit. Finally, there's Quorum, where the car can really show off the power of the ground effects. Drivers will try to bleed off speed and hug the inside to give themselves a nice wide line into Murray's. Once again, don't clobber that big sausage curb, and then try to find the loud pedal as soon as it grips. You'll need all the speed you can down the front stretch, where you've now hopefully finished a lap around Snetterton.
To quote Carly Simon from 1981, give or take about 4 years, nobody does it better, and she must have been singing about Joe Peak's ability to talk the viewers around a racetrack. And now, to talk us through the championship points, it's Crackers time.
Yes, sir. Let's look at the points now in the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship, the Drivers' Championship underway. Nuno Moreira sitting on top right now, 570 points in total. Juha Norlampi looking right over his shoulder, just 16 points back. Things could change today, folks. We'll see. Kalle Ruokola sitting there in third, 86 points back, up a spot. Kalle starting to make that charge up to the top. Steve Bycroft there in fourth, coming out of fifth place. And go down to fifth, we find QC Clapp, who right now looking, I don't see QC here today. But we've got a good battle here going early on in this Drivers' Championship. Let's look at the team standings real quick, Sue. We've got the, let's see, Fittipaldi Automotive currently on top with 99 points. That is Juha Norlampi's team. And second, you have Steve Bycroft and Stevens there. The Equipe Leger Gitan, that's 17 points out of first. And then we got a little tie back here in third. Albalad Williams and Ragno Aero Beta Racing. They're tied at 24 points back from our leader. And then fifth, Essex John Player Lotus. That's Pablo and Simpkins, 28 points back. So really, really good battle there going for third through fifth there, Soup. And a lot of players still in this as we are still very early in the season.
You can look, that qualifying is going on right now. You can see that Macias is sitting at the top there. Prix in second. Some familiar names. No, Sean, it seems like all the drivers, these are, we'll talk about the race details here in a second, but it seems like all the big name drivers try to make this broadcast event.
Yeah, Soup, they really do. And, you know, something I just noticed, and as we see qualifying ticket away here, you know, we just talked about in the pre-race before we went on the air about anybody going with a sub 1 minute lap. Well, guess what? We've got three drivers that have done that. Sergio Macias, Cherno Frisch, and Tapani Linalauto all go sub 1 minute, 59-second laps. We thought the right weather conditions that might happen. Well, we've got a mostly cloudy condition today, only 71 degrees outside and only 81 degrees on track. And we're going to the grid. Let's get it in here, Sue.
Okay, on the front row, we'll do this a row at a time here. Sergio Macias and help me out here. Is it Cherno Frisch? Okay, you're up, Sean.
All right, row two, Tapani Linalauto and Matt Wood.
Steve Bycroft and Kalle Ruokola.
Okay, row four, Teemu Toika and Juha Norlampi.
John Stevens and Gert Hoffhofer.
All right, and then we're going to go down to the next row. It's going to be Nicola Kochi and Philip Lake.
Pablo Suarez and Peter. Oh, give me a help on this one. Let's go with Konechny.
Peter Konechny. That's good enough, buddy. Okay. Barry Weston, John Keefe, Steve Sarles going to start all the way at the back. Juha Norlampi with a very, very suspicious slow lap. Going to start in the middle of this field. Going to be tough for him. Passing here at Snetterton, Soup. Very, very, very tough. Small track. Lots of speed out of this Lotus 79. It's going to be a fun race.
This is round 4 of 12. There's 4 drop races for the drivers, 2 drop races for the team. We're going 40 laps today. Setups, of course, are open. And the points, well, they're the official iRacing points that they just transfer over here into our Classic Team Championship. We hope you have a good one. Soup's on, along with Sean Ambrose here. And of course, I'm filling in for Jake Sperry. Jake, we hope to see you back here next week. We expect him to be here. Jake had a little conflict. If you want a nice consumption game, every time I butcher up a name, go ahead, take a sip of some type of beverage of your choice. On the pole. Go ahead.
It is supper time. So here we go, Soup.
40 laps. You can hear the engine start to harmonize. Yeah, they're up the chickens. Take cover behind the cows because the horses are out of the barn. And it is indeed Sergio Macias who leads the stampede into the first corner, that right-hander. Right behind him, Prix.
My, oh my, lots of cars trying to take it 3 wide there into Rich's. Everybody getting through Wilson now. 2x2 going through Wilson here at the back of the field.
Up in front, they are clean so far. All 17 cars still on the track. It is Macias, Prix trying to stay with them.
Toyka goes off the track just as Jared Hoffer and Pablo Suarez are getting by.
Toyka was racing in 7th position at the time. He's going to drop about 7 more as he's back in 14th now.
Yeah, I think all he lost was time. I don't think he picked up any damage on the car. Here they come around to complete the first lap, Sue.
It's still Macias and Prix out in front. Matt Wood now chasing, as I believe he's got around the driver in 4th as he picks up a spot. They head down to lap. First lap was totally clean. Now they work their way down. Sean, where's the tricky part in this car? I saw you were out practicing in this one.
Well, right here where the leaders just got through there in Nelson. Awful tricky. The trip, the bomb hole, not so bad, but once you get around Coram into turn 7, Murray's, they're coming on it now here. The left-hander is extremely tough to get that car settled and keep it from running all the way out. Then you got all the power of this straightaway coming up here to race down into Rich's, which is honestly just a slight bit of lift in the Lotus 79.
They work through 2. Lap number 2 is complete. Macias, Prix, and Wood. A nice little train picking up there from 3rd position. Looked like Wood might be the cork in the bottle.
Well, Wood off to a great start. Watch out for Kali Ruokola back here, though, in 5th. Kali has now picked up 1 spot and seems to be primed to get up here and racing with Tapani Linovuto. Now, one thing we didn't talk about, Soup, this being such a short track, 1 minute, 1 second laps, the back of the field going to come up pretty quick. We've already had some trouble there at the back, some guys getting slowed down, so traffic going to be a big deal here today at Snetterton.
Yeah, just about 3 seconds difference between our pole sitter and our slowest qualifier. So yeah, it won't be long till they get there, especially with 40 circuits around this place today. Little Loto holding off in 4th position as the top 5 pretty much race in order. And really the top 6 if you throw in there Steve Bycroft as well.
Yeah, and just looking through the field here early, you can see that passing already very tough. Not a lot of positions gained or lost at this point. Really, Barry West right now is our big mover through the field. He is up 4 spots, finds himself in 11th right now. 11th, and looks to be maybe catching Suarez here a little bit.
Mildly good field here, Sean, about 17, but this series usually get a little bit more than that, this being a new track, maybe a little small today.
Maybe, Soup. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Usually we've got a few more cars here. Sometimes we even split. Still watching Barry West, and actually, like Timo Toyka really back on his horse, Soup. Not happy with that trouble early, and he has caught Barry very quickly here. The Finn is on his way, wants those 5 spots back, wants them all now.
As we watch this battle, as we are right on board with Toyka looking ahead at West, where's your best passing zone?
Well, really, on one of these straightaways, maybe across the front straight and into Rich's turn 1. You might take advantage of somebody going into Wilson, maybe cut under them in turn 2. or the Bentley straight on the backside of the course suit.
Do these Lotus 79 cars suck up in the draft much? Look at this as we're looking there as Lake has had. He's in a battle right now. He's making a move. Oh, are they going to touch? Yes, they do.
Boy. Yeah.
And
That did not work out with John Keefe. Man, John not having any luck this weekend. He was in our Camel GT race yesterday, and he had some of the same misfortune. John going to get it back going again, though, here as we go back live. Keefe loses a lot of positions all the way back down to 16th.
Keefe got together with Phil Lake. And, of course, Phil Lake has a brother, Drain.
Oh. I guess you've never caught my nickname for Phil. It's Phil in and around the lake. Sue.
In and around the lake. I like that one. The Lake boys, Phil and Drain.
Boy.
Up in front. Go ahead.
Peter Canesi getting a run on Phil Lake right now. Watch out.
We talked about where the passing zone is. Well, there's one place to get it done.
Yeah, you take a chance there in Brundle. The problem with Brundle is you've got Nelson comes up so that right-hander that Nelson is, you've got to really, really get the car slowed down quickly. And it's off camber there.
Let's go to 11th real quick. This is really heating up. This is West and Toyka. Man, Timo is all over the back of Barry.
Yeah, and you know what? Again, Toyka had that trouble early, but he has rebounded well, and boy, he's giving Barry West just a mirror full right now.
Great camera shot as we look off the back under the gearbox. Back at Toyka.
Journo Friesch is really, really reeled in. Really, really reeled in. Sir, I got to choose my words better. Sergio Macias. Ooh,
yeah.
He's getting a run here in quorum.
Yeah, Friesch has been filling them out, and now for the first 5 or 6 laps, just testing them, and now I think he's got an idea of where he wants to get it done. The drivers behind him all racing in order. Bycroft has lost a position. No, he's still racing at 6th. That's where he's been racing.
I don't know if you noticed, but most of the field here from the European continent, it's a shame that we have to live in a world where there are time differences. Wouldn't you love to just hook some of these guys up with that Lionheart Retro Series and them running the Lotus 79s?
They race. That's a great series race here alternating Thursdays here on GSRC. Of course, it's Thursday night in the U.S., so it would be early Friday morning in Europe.
Yeah, it would. That'd be a tough call for these boys.
We stay on that battle for the lead.
Boy, and Friesch really giving him the business here. He's looking for that opportunity. It's not there yet. Sergio not ready to relinquish this lead to Journo Friesch. We haven't talked about Juha Norlampi lately, and to see where he's at on track, what kind of progress he's made. Again, a bad qualifying start for Juha, and that finds him currently still only in 7th place. And boy, a podium really going to be hard to find for Juha at this point. He has now dropped, almost just under 5 seconds behind our leader.
Yeah, and with passing obviously being so tough and some big names to get through, that's going to be a tall order for him. I think what makes this a little easier for Friesch up in 2nd is that at least he knows he's not losing any ground to Wood. I think Friesch is faster than Macias, and if Friesch can get around him, he could leave him behind. And right now, boy, he is really good through that corner. And again, we have 40 laps, so he's only 1/4 of the way there. No pit stops today. Now, Kaninsky, did he just get around Phil Lake? Oh, no, he's off. That's what happened.
Yeah, okay, and you know what? I did it several times myself practicing the car. You got entry, was just a little bit hot there going into Brundle. You've really got to slow down pretty much the moment you hit that bridge, that shadow there. And he gets in a little bit too hot. And the front end goes away from the car, and he tries to correct it, but then goes just straight through. Hits that curbing, jumps over, lands safely in the grass, but a little undercarriage damage, probably certain on that car, and a little bit of wing damage on the right front.
Yeah, for open-wheel cars, these cars are not as fragile as you might think, but boy, that was a pretty good shot. That probably gave it a little bit of damage. Let's go up to second now, as what has happened was Prix was making, in fact, Prix is under attack from Wood. Prix has really fallen off the pace of Macias. Not sure if it's Macias that has picked it up, or if Prix, I think Prix has lost his rhythm, and now here comes Matt Wood. The UK driver has been racing in third position the whole time. You see him back there in that yellow machine. Uh-oh. Look up commentator's curse in the dictionary and you'll get a picture there of Matt Wood. Here, we're looking at it right now. We'll watch the hands. Boy, he tried to turn the car. You can see that car almost in full lock to the right, but once you get it out on that slippery tundra here in the UK, as Wood's coming into the pits, there's no getting it to come back.
That's a shame. You know, just as he's coming in the pits, a battle here. Pablo, Suarez, Timo, Toyka come by, and Suarez right now in front of Toyka. Toyka continuing to try and battle back, but has unfortunately lost some positions. Now it's Suarez taking one away. Suarez up 4 spots, finds himself in 9th. You know what? That makes him our biggest mover in the race, actually, Sue. So again, you know, this Snetterton 200 circuit really just seems to not yield a lot of great passing opportunities. You know, you asked before if there was much toe on the Lotus 70, and unfortunately these straightaways just aren't long enough for that to really be a factor.
We look at that battle for 10th. There's a good look at Toyka's machine. And I think there's the door opening.
Mistake.
Yeah, there's no way Suarez is coming back from that one, although he's on the inside line. He has the preferred position. They're going to have to work this out on the right-hander. I think Suarez is going to be able to hold him off. No!
That's going to end in tears.
You can just got to get that. The opportunity was there, and neither one of them were going to give on this one. We're going to look at it from above. This will be a good angle.
Yeah, and what's going to happen is Suarez, he makes his turn in, I think maybe clipping that curb a little bit, shoots the car off towards the middle of the track, and he really does kind of come up into his opponent there. That's unfortunate, but both cars continue on. They're still fighting out here. Suarez going to slip all the way back to 11th.
Probably called a racing incident or a racing mistake. It was, you can tell it wasn't intentional. The right side's got up on the curbing and the car came up. Something that both those drivers will have to remember. Now look at this battle for 4th. This is really heating up, Sean. I've been watching Bycroft little by little starting to pressure Locola.
Yeah, and now Juha Norlampi has really got into the back end of this. Kaya Ruokola doing everything he can to just stay in this position. He's now fallen just under 2 seconds back from Tapani Linalauto. And those cars are just, honestly, they're just, the top 3 are just faster right now. Almost a little over a half a second, the top 3. Ruokola, I don't know, Ruokola not really holding Bycroft up, but Bycroft not finding any opportunities here to make a move.
Okay, Sean, we talked about drafting. Let's go the other direction. Now, it's my understanding in my field with these cars having ground effects, they're not quite as accessible to dirty air. What do you think? Do you think that could be playing a factor, though, with these cars getting close?
Yeah, no, it definitely can be. Now, We don't have a great amount of wind here. It is 10 miles an hour, so it could be blowing the cars around a little bit. There really isn't any banking here. It's a pretty flat facility. So downforce definitely an issue. I mean, you've got to be, if you're up behind somebody, you definitely want to put yourself in the spot where you've got at least some of the wing out, the front wing, to get some downforce on the front of that car to make her turn.
Look at this. My goodness. And Prix is so great through that left-hander there that sets up onto the main straight. He gains on him. Unfortunately, it's the, well, I was going to say accordion, but since we're over in Europe, the concertina effect there. He closes up, but then on exit, Prix not nearly as good. Got to get my terminology. You got to target it to the audience there, Sean.
Well, Journo, certainly one of the more competitive drivers in this series. Certainly one of the fastest. But Sergio Macias has had some great runs, and he's going to have to make a mistake here for Journo to get around him. I'm calling it now. There's a little over 24 laps left to go, and Sergio's going to have to be just drop dead perfect on all 24 of those. If he isn't, Journo will definitely take advantage of that. I just don't know if Journo's going to be able to make that car small enough to find a way in.
Well, Matt Wood will attest that mistakes can happen, as he was racing in third and then he went off, ended his day. We talked about Nora Lampi getting a podium. Well, he was in seventh. He picks up that spot that he vultures from Wood's mistake, now up to sixth. Boy, this battle that we're looking at, this is the best one on the track right now.
Yeah, and it's really it hasn't yielded any big changes here over the last 4 or 5 laps. They continue to kind of ride along line of stern, and Steve Bycroft just had a problem.
He was in fifth, and now, he's dropped a position. Nora Lampi has him. Let's see if we can find it.
Well, did he get a cut course there, maybe?
We're looking at it right now. We're going to see. Oh, we are live. We didn't find it. So Nora Lampi moves up into fifth. Bycroft falls back into sixth. Now we'll go take a look at the leaders. It continues to be close. And again, it could come all down to mistakes. We've seen 2 of them now, one from Bycroft, one from Wood.
Soup, Bycroft let Nora Lampi go. He just let him go, and you thanked him for it.
I went back to look at that as well. I couldn't figure out. That was my take on it. I don't know the drivers well enough to know what the reasons behind that might be, but that was my take too.
I mean, you would just assume everybody is fighting for that championship. Boy, but you look at the middle of the front 5 here, the back end of the top 5, and it's 3 Finns: Tapani Linnaluoto, Kalle Ruokola, and Juha Nora Lampi, all chasing each other now.
Well, we're looking at that fourth as so another spot where we kind of documented Nora Lampi. He was racing in 7th when we were saying this. Can he get to a podium? Well, he's got 2 spots already. Now, when I start to talk about setups, that's probably not the smartest thing for me to do. But if we go up to the leaders real quick, just from eyeballing it, I would say that Prix has more downforce put in his car. We'll stay on this for a minute. Again, watch how he's really strong through kind of the twisty sections, and then coming up into this corner, he will close right up on the tail. Watch how good he gets in there.
Yeah, super. And now we're opening up to a straightaway here. Okay, and as long as you get the exit of that right, it's going to be hard to catch every time if you've got a little bit too much downforce in the car. Maybe a combination of downforce and gear. Soup, this is a brand new track to everybody. Okay, and still making adjustments for a set. The Lotus 79 series is really, really good about sharing sets in the forums. Unfortunately, there's just nothing there yet. Nothing's been built up for this car. So everybody kind of taking a little bit of a guess at it.
You can see right there, again, he actually loses when the cars open up. He cannot stay with Macias.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess he either missed it on the gear or on the downforce. But boy, now Journo really gets a good run at him there through Nelson.
Now they loop around through this right-hander. What is the name of this sharp left-hander that comes up here, the final corner on the track?
That's
there.
Murray's. Yeah, that's Murray's right there. You can actually run that out pretty wide to the right, but it obviously does still have its boundary. And once again, Journo just loses ground to Sergio Macias as they get out of Murray's.
Well, we've gone the halfway. The top 3 drivers race in the order that they qualified. Macias, Frisch, and Linoluato. Let's look at P9 real quick.
Barry West, Timo Toika still going at it. Man, those two have been at it for a while. Barry West in that Tyrrell, number 14.
I think Toika and Frisch, they could maybe go out for a drink after this race and commiserate with each other. I think they are they're suffering the same problems right now.
Well, you know what? Really, hats off to Timo Toika. That machine got some pretty heavy damage on the right side, mainly the right rear wing and the right front wing all out of shape. So he is battling that car and still wheeling it here in a 10th place and really competitive with Barry West.
With a relatively small field and not so many battles, it's good for the viewers. We're able to stay on these battles a little longer so you can really get the feel of them. Sometimes, Sean, we get into these incident plagued where we have to jump around from replay to replay. It's hard to get a feel for the race. This is kind of fun if you're a viewer.
Yeah.
My wife watches me watch our GSRC broadcast, the ones that I'm not commentating on. She says, I watch it not only with my eyes, but with my shoulders and my feet. She can see me hitting the gas pedal and leaning left and right as you really get to feel like you're in the car.
Where our leader's having to get around some traffic right now, Soup, getting by the car of John Keefe. So far, so good.
That may be something that Frisch can play on as he's looking for any type of excuse or cause or opening for him to make that pass. All right, Sean, I'm really hitting you up for putting you to work here as the color commentator. What's your guess on tires with 40 laps on these cars? Is that something that can go away, do you think?
You know what? I haven't done a full 40-lap run yet. I will tell you that I did about 20 consecutively. I think it was about 23, actually. Tires never really seem to be an issue unless I beat them up a lot. And then I can generally recover pretty quickly. I think they're going to be okay. There's plenty of grip out here. You do have to be a little careful, though, on your exits, such like as Murray and Nelson. You've got to. There's a delicate combination of, getting the power down back to the track as you've got some pretty slow corners there.
Would you say maybe it's not so much a case of lateral grip that might go away, but maybe just the rear tires giving up a little bit, getting the power down, burn up the rear tires a little bit?
Exactly. Now watching this battle between Frisch. Now we'll go to P9. Yeah, the hunt is on again. Barry West under threat here. Timu finally getting him and coming into the picture. Pablo Suarez has found his way back into a battle.
Boy, good racing, but tough passing right now. And this is a fun little corner here, Sean. What is this corner called? That right-hander there. Whoa, there we go, and we lose Suarez.
That's out of Wilson right there, turn 2, man. Let's see what happened to Suarez here on the replay. Wow. Oh yeah, he just got there a little bit. He overran it. Gets that off to the right. Going to lose that time down there. lose that battle, unfortunately.
Oh, here we go. Now we have the Oh, I thought it was going to happen. Toyka was all over the back of West. I believe this one's going to happen before the lead change. If Toyka is, oh man, he's really working the car now. Now he's got to start all over again.
Yeah. Yeah, just got the power down a little bit too quick there, Toyka did, and loses ground to Barry West again as they head down into Riches.
Okay, with that cooling off a bit, maybe we can give take a second to give some love to some of the guys we haven't talked about much yet. How about Gert Hoffer in 7th position?
Yeah, kind of a strange day for Gerd. Not a great qualifying effort. Maybe just hasn't adapted to this track quite yet, but used to seeing Gerd a little bit higher up in the field. He does have the number 5 coming into this race. That's the 5th highest I rating in the session, which our strength of field today at 3,690 soon.
We can report that Matt Wood just won the car a little while ago. No, we don't need to go that one. Matt is, 3 laps down. He had issues. How about we take a second and look at John Stevens? Haven't talked much about him as he's racing in 8th. We have a lot of guys racing from England in this one, Sean. This guy is racing out of New England. That's over here in these States.
Right, yes. Yeah, Stevens, a regular week in, week out, one of the few U.S. representatives that we have in this series. And right now, he's having a solid effort today. He's up a spot in 8th right now. And honestly, the car looks really clean. Looks like he's having a pretty effortless drive here. It's a good track to get into a rhythm and just and let it fly, man. Again, this is a new track to everyone, so experience probably varies a little bit throughout the field, but not by much, probably.
Oh, we gotta go back to West again. West and Toyka. Sean, I really think these guys. I think I know where the pass is going to come, and it's going to be that left-hander. Was it Murray you talked about? I know we didn't talk about it as a passing zone. One of these guys are going to lose patience and go ahead and do a dive bomb in there.
Well, Timu going to have to do a little bit of work here because that last effort there really hurt him, and that's brought Suarez back into the picture.
That's what he took a dive into Murray. Cost him a horrible exit. I mean, it was a all or nothing move, and he has to pay the price of not getting it done. Brings him back into shouting distance here of Pablo Suarez. Suarez, remember, was up there racing with these guys. He had that off. He's coming back. Suarez out there racing in that John Players machine. Of course, this is the Lotus 79. I believe the schemes these guys are racing, a lot of them are from 1981. That's their year
right,
they're
sir.
highlighting.
Yeah. And our leaders just had to get through traffic, and I think someone had trouble on track.
Oh, it was Keefe. Maybe we can look at John Keefe.
Yeah.
John, we talked about John Stevens. Stevens gave him a little encouragement to get out of the way.
Well, you know what? Just nowhere to go really there on the exit of that turn. Hard to make a move. Unfortunately, Keefe going to bear the brunt of that.
Keefe got to be thinking a pair of Johns here. Got to be staying to Stevens. Man, you're racing in 8th. I realize you're on the lead lap, but you're really not in a battle. Couldn't you have waited just a bit?
Steve Sarles had a moment. Yeah, he ran it out wide, coming out of turn 1.
Oh, and if you stay on it, scared the heck out of little Nuotto.
Yeah, he caught the grass, and then the car slides back up in the middle of the track. You're going to see it here. He recovers from that fine, but when he gets going again here, down the straightaway,
maybe an onboard from little Nuotto here, you'll get an idea of, here we go. This one will get your heart beating here. He comes out, looks like he was going to come right back out. Luckily, he gathered it up and was able to yank it back to the left.
Cairo Cola has been caught by Juha Norlampi. could just be a matter of laps here before there's an attack for this position.
Pulling over there, that was Sarlis getting out of the way, left car.
Boy, and that last, and we missed it on camera, but the last charge that Juha took at Cali really hurt him there. A lot of lost some time. Guess you got to be willing to sacrifice that time to make a move. They're getting out of the way of this battle. Didn't see who that was up there that moved out of the way, but good job by getting out of the line. That was Steve Starles, actually. Juha runs it out into the dirt. Loses a little bit more time.
They are working on finding a way around anybody. This is a great battle right now. Nora Loppy, we saw him as far back as 7th. He's worked his way up a little bit.
Yeah, and look at Bycroft there. Here we go. Bycroft really, really in this. Ooh, Bycroft with a move there off of Nora Loppy.
And he's going to get that spot back that he lost earlier.
Wow. Bit of a mistake there by Juha.
Yeah, you know, I don't think it's much power. Boy, if I didn't know better, I almost thought he missed a gear or had a slowdown penalty or something.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe our director's saying maybe it's a return of the favor.
Maybe. That is a solid point.
Boy, I haven't called one of these races before, Sean, or it's been a while at least since I've called one. This is a polite bunch.
Well, there is a lot of sportsmanship here, but hey, don't make any assumptions, because they do ruffle the feathers of each other every now and again. And
all right.
Yeah, there's a couple of good rivalries here.
Let's go to West. Man, this is really tight. Toyka trying to find its way around. Don't be surprised if he dives it in this time. Let's see if he forces the issue. Not gonna do it. Oh, but
Ooh.
He is trying to figure that out.
Consistently, this has been the best battle on track. I'm going to be honest. Although I maybe Macias and Frisch might argue with that. They're having a pretty good tussle up there themselves. Frisch only 0.4 of a second.
And this has turned into a partie de trois here, as joining is Suarez now has caught up. So who's been the driver who's put in your fastest lap of the race? Well, that's Frisch in second. I know if Frisch could get around Macias, he could leave him behind. And I think Macias knows that as well.
Yeah. Soup, I'm not so sure about that. Ooh, bit of a slide there from Journo, getting into Nelson. Again, I go back to what we're talking about setup earlier. I don't know with this setup if Journo could get ahead of him and stay ahead of him.
You might be right, Sean.
I really think Sergio got the edge on the setup here and is just a tick faster where it really counts, and that's on the wide open parts of this track.
Yeah, the problem for Journo is where he's faster, it's impossible to make a pass. Could be right. Even if Macias did fall back into second, the way that car's set up, I think he'd have a better chance of getting the spot back than Frisch does right now. Boy, Frisch really working on him. He has been doing this for 34 laps. He only has 7 more nibbles of the apple to get the pass done.
Usually,
when we talk wire to wire, usually we talk about an easy one. Not been the case for Macias. He has been one mistake away from this race getting away from him.
And look at the traffic that they're catching up in front of him. That's Pablo Lamburas Suarez. And boy, they closed on him quick. Pablo had to make a quick decision there. They did not catch him in a great spot there on the exit of Quorum.
Boy, one of the best runs, though, out of that corner now. But again, the car just will not go anywhere. I'm talking about Frisch. That's how you do it. Come up on and give him a little hello.
I did that in practice to somebody. I took I took Rich's flat out, and they checked up almost too much. just plowed the poor guy. Glad it was practice. I don't remember your name, sir, but I am sorry again.
Sean, he remembers you. My dad used to say, the axe forgets, the tree remembers. He'll see you again. Luckily, it was only in practice.
I'll probably have a protest waiting in my inbox. Thanks, Sue.
They're coming up on Phil Lake here, and the pace these guys are running, I think they're going to get to Lake before the race is done.
Well, they still continue to turn in 1 minute laps, Soup. Which I really thought 101 was as low as we'd go see him go, but obviously the 81 degrees on track, partly cloud or mostly cloudy, making a big difference here. Macias still trying to hold off Journo Frisch.
Lake gets out of the way. So we've seen Frisch get really, really close on the last corner, and then that last lap around, we saw him get really, really close on the first corner. But now he's fallen back a little bit, but it really doesn't matter because he can make up all that ground right here. We look off the tail of our leader.
Boy, Ruokola still trying to hold off Bycroft. I know this battle up front has been great, but Tapani Littleauto, the only one who's safe right now, because behind him, Kaya Ruokola and Steve Bycroft having a very, very intense battle, much like the one we're seeing up at the front there, Soup. Bycroft really, really seems to be on his game today.
Yeah, we can stay on that battle. We do not need to go what I'm going to talk about, but Barry West has distanced himself a little bit from Toyka, so that battle that we have been watching has cooled off a bit. Well, that one has cooled off. You're looking at Bycroft, remember, who gave up the spot earlier to Nora Lompe now, trying to get fourth.
Yeah, Nora Lompe's really fallen off since Bycroft went by him. Nora Lompe finds himself just over 3 seconds back. I don't think it's going to be a factor here over these last 3.5 laps. Bycroft with a small chance to maybe get position on Gaia Ruokola.
The leaders come across the line right now, and they have 3 to go. Maybe the forgotten man this race, as far as the broadcast goes, is Tapani Littleauto. He sits quietly in third.
Very quietly, very cool customer today. Kept that car out of trouble. Soup, I don't think I'm going to be Captain Obvious here. I don't think Journo's got too many chances left. You see Toyka was off the track. Was that Toyka that was off the track? It was. Yeah. Timo gets out of the way. Here comes Tapani Littleauto through, though, and he's going to have to get around Toyka. Toyka slows down and gets totally out of the way. Good job there, Toyka.
Let's go up to the lead. Here we go. This time he's going to try it on the outside. The inside hasn't worked. That's not going to work either, but I give him points for being creative. And again, he's really good into one. As we're looking here at 2 to go. Maybe he's just putting that thought into Macias's head.
Soup, I think they're going to have another lap car come here into play. Barry West just up in front of them, just by about 3 seconds.
Probably the best news for the leader is that West-Toyka battle broke up. Because they've been hot at it right now. They'd have to get both of these guys. West might be far enough ahead that he doesn't come into play.
Just barely, I know. Yeah, it's going to be really close.
All right, here we go again now. Let's see what Frisch has in store this time. Too far back to do anything. I think this time maybe he's thinking about getting a better run down the straight. That car just will not go. He scoots up in the chair. He's using his Flintstone feet, trying to get that car to move, but it just has no straight line speed. White flag lap. Boy,
Ruokola made a huge mistake getting out of the final turn. Did not allow Bycroft to catch him, though, that much. I think Ruocolo's got this fourth position here pretty safe as long as it doesn't make any more mistakes going around here. So, Soup, you've got the most important battle left.
And it is our closest battle, really. And it is Macias and Frisch. Now, sure enough, they do come on the back of Barry West. And I think this is going to play a factor, but West knows there's nothing to fight for. He gets out of the way. The cars really didn't lose any momentum. Macias now, as they head down, this is where Frisch is good. Is he going to try it to the inside? Is he going to try it to the outside? He's 2 car lengths back. 1 car length back. That's how you do it. Give him a little help. Look at the sportsmanship, though, from Frisch. He does not force the issue. That was this hello, but our winner goes to Sergio Macias. Gernot Frisch gets second.
Wow. Lino Luelto going to come across in third. Cairo Lacola fourth, and Bycroft going to take that 5th spot, Sue.
Maybe one of the most exciting wire-to-wire races you'd ever want to see. Macias takes it all the way, but he couldn't relax the entire race.
Hey, why don't we take a look at that move there in the last turn? I'm going to try and break that down a little bit. Macias maybe makes a small mistake there that allows Journo to get that run. Obviously, Journo, last gasp effort, going for it here.
And then stay with it. It looks like it was my take from watching it the first time that Journo then decided not to force the issue and just let things stay.
Yeah, he played it cool there, and great job. He can get a little bit better look of it here from up top. Again, Macias made a little bit of a mistake on his entry there into that final turn, but everything winds up as it should. All things equal there. I think Sergio makes that turn perfectly. I don't still think Journo fails again out of that last turn like he had on all previous 39 laps to try and get around him. What a great race, though. I love this Snetterton circuit, man. I can't wait to get out here this afternoon. I think I'm going to try and run an official one today.
It was a fun one to watch, a fun one to call. Jake Sperry, thanks for letting me take your seat. What we're going to do right now on the Global Sim Racing channel is take a short break, but you know the routine. We'll be back shortly to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Classic Team Championship, the Lotus 79, round 4 from Snetterton. Now, we talked about the consumption game here, so I'm going to run through some of the standings here. You guys get your drinks ready. We'll see how we do. I think I'm going to be okay. I'm going to take the first 8 here, Sean. Our winner today, Sergio Macias. He was out in front of Gernot Frisch the entire race. Frisch could not get around him. Tepani Linroto in 3rd position. That might be worth a drink. Kelly Rucola in 4th. Steve Bycroft, 5th position. Gerd Hofferer in 6th. Julha Norlampi in 7th. And I get the last one's easy. John Stevens.
Hey, 9th is not too bad either. Barry West, 9th place for him today. Big mover. He came up from 15th to get there. Timo Toika had his struggles, but you know what, Soup? He still finishes this race, and we'll give him a Dory Award. And there we go. So 10th to Timo Toika. Philip in and around the lake, 11th. Pablo Ambera Suarez will finish 12th. Peter Canezzi in 13th. Steve Sarles will finish 14th today. John Keefe, 15th. Matt Wood, a disappointing 16th place finish for him after completing 37 of these 40 laps. Nicola Kochi had trouble with his connection early. Soup only got a lap in and will finish 17th. I believe you have caught up with the one of the very important figures in this race, Mr. Gernot Frisch.
Gernot, Soup here. Boy, for not being able to make a pass the entire race, that was some pretty intense racing going on. You just couldn't find your way around, Sergio.
Yeah, that's true, actually. I was quite satisfied with my pace. Didn't think I really could keep up with Sergio. But actually, the problem was that I was running much higher downforce than him, and I knew that before the race, because in the previous race I was a sitting duck on the straights. I took off some wings, but it was not enough to attack him.
Well, you had the fastest lap of the race. I think you were incredibly fast through the technical sections. Sean and I were talking about it. Even if you might have been faster than Sergio once you got around it, I don't think your car was fast enough to stay out in front.
Exactly, I think you're perfectly right. That was the situation for me in the race before. I was quite quick concerning lap times, but a couple of other drivers easily passed me on the straights, and you can't make up for that in the corners.
You might have had a chance to steal the win. That final corner, you tried to the inside, you tried to the outside. You're seeing if there was any way you could get that done and then maybe have a short drag down to the start-finish line. A little bit of sportsmanship there on the end when you bumped him on that last corner?
Yeah, sure. I usually don't want to exploit that. I think the reason was that Sergio was taking a very defensive line on the inside, and I had to slow down quite a lot to make the corner. On the other hand, I had to turn in as well, otherwise I would have gone to the grass. So that's why we touched. But yeah, I think it's good for a last lap like
yeah.
that.
All right, if you're going to bump somebody, do it on the last corner of the last lap. Hey, for a pass never being made, it was fun to watch. Thanks for putting on a good show, and good luck to you the rest of the way.
Thanks to you guys. Bye-bye. See you.
Gernot Frisch, your second place finisher today. Sean, he had the fastest lap. He can hang his hat on that one, but was not first to the checkered flag. Who are you going to talk to?
I'm going to talk to Tepani, Linluoto Tepani. What a race, man. It was pretty quiet for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, early on, Matt got past me in the start, so I was just following him for a while, and I made a couple of mistakes and dropped back a couple of seconds, and then I was just watching the guys drive away slowly, and suddenly they were coming back to me in the end. I don't know why Sergio was starting to get slower, but it was interesting. I had to push real hard all day long, and kind of interesting still.
Tepani, have you guys seen, I know you've run a little bit this week, had you seen this weather, mostly cloudy, 81 degrees on track? Because honestly, I didn't think anybody would go under a minute in qualifying. We see 3 of you actually go in 59s.
Well, very early in the week, I drove some overcast and some 20-degree tracks, so I knew it would be under a minute here, but well, I was practicing in a bit hotter weather, so it was something.
I got to be honest. This is the second race I've got to cover here at Snetterton. I did the Lotus 49 last week or the week before, but and now in the Lotus 79. Man, you got to love this track. It's a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I wish it was the 300 configuration, but I was enjoying a lot. It's some of the braking zones are quite hard and technical, and it took me a while to get into them. But it's a fun track.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe the 300 version is something we get for next season. That would be nice to check that one out. I agree with you. Listen, congratulations. Great run today. Certainly going to be a good shot in the arm in the points, and we will see you next week, my friend.
Yeah, cheers.
All right, and cheers to Tapani Lenuto today, and great run he had. Soup, you've caught up with Barry West.
Yeah, and I've closed down my result page there. So Barry West, I believe, came home, what is it, Sean? Ninth position. But man, right. He was in a battle for the whole race. Barry, he never got around you, but man, he was working on you.
I know, he made me sweat a bit, that guy. Yeah, Timo was good. I mean, the pity he had it coming together with Pablo, I think, and he had some damage. So I knew I was faster on the straights, and so when I was just trying to make sure he didn't get a decent toe off me into the corners, I could pull away on the straight. And then Pablo caught him back up again. I don't know what happened then, but yeah, that was pressure all through the race. And I fortunately I didn't make one mistake, but I was just driving slowly just to make sure I didn't make a mistake. So I enjoyed that. That was a good race, and I got stinking cold, so as you can tell, it sweated it out of me.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about setups, so we were talking to some of the drivers. It's my position. If I was a crew chief, I would say maybe the fastest car might be a car with high downforce, but the best car to race might be a car with low downforce, because you can actually pass somebody.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I had, 4.3 on the front and 4.5 on the rear, and I think that was probably a little bit less than others had. Yeah, I think you're right. If you haven't got it on the straight, you can get the toe. I mean, he was like 0.2, 0.3 behind me, and then I was pulling away. I was like 0.5 by the time he got the end of the straight. I don't know whether that was to do with his damage or whether that was to do with the wing that he was carrying. But yeah, it made it a bit easier to defend against. But I was so slow coming out the bomb hole. He got down the inside of me nearly once. It was 0.1 going into Gorham. And then, I think once at the chicane I had to go wide because I think he was on the inside. But yeah, that was a very close race. Yeah, that's what makes it fun, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, for there being no passing, you put on a great show. Congratulations, and we'll see you down the road.
Thank you.
Hey,
cheers, guys.
Quick question for Barry, just real quickly, man. Have you been in Snetterton before?
Been where, sorry?
Have you been to this track before?
No. Well, I did race a Skippy race, but not on this layout. It was the other layout, the longer one. But
all right.
Yeah, it's a very difficult track. In fact, I think it'd been better for the Lotus if we'd have used the 300 layout, because those two really slow corners really mess the flow of the circuit up for the Lotus. But yeah, hopefully next time we try the bigger one.
Hopefully. Okay, Barry. Thanks a lot, buddy. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys.
And that's going to do it here for the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of this Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship. We'd like to thank everybody there for choosing GSRC to be the exclusive broadcast company. Thanks to the software and hardware that we use on our broadcast that you see on the screen right now. Additional thanks to our music contributors, Eric Echolm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact them. The Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship returns next week for round 5 from the Nürburgring. GSRC will be there. We hope you join us. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. Finally, on behalf of my partner, Sean Crackers Ambrose, our director, Amjad Yaman, camera artist, Dougie Beard, and old flame, Medina Mendez, wherever you are, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.